Hello and welcome to Inner Thoughts. This week we have Ashley, our Miss North America 2025. Hello.
Hey, thanks for having me today.
Of course, thank you for being on. Would you like to tell us about your pageant journey leading up to this new title?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started pageantry back in 2021. I had done several pageants. Some of them were virtual, some of them were in person. This is not my first international pageant, but it's my first international title that I won. So I'm super excited about that. And you're free to ask me really anything you like.
Amazing. So I guess I'll just start by asking, how do you feel with this new title?
I am so excited and I'm very grateful. Like I said, this is my first international title that I have won. I love competing internationally because you get to meet women from all across the globe. And I just think that that's so wonderful to get different perspectives. And I'm very excited and I'm so grateful to have this opportunity. I have so many things planned for this year, and I'm sure that it's just going to keep piling up.
Yeah, of course. And I guess that'll lead me to my next question. What's the kind of the first thing you want to do with your new title?
So tomorrow I actually have something planned. We have these things called Women on Site, and they're kind of monthly meetups. So I really want that to be my first stop because I am a woman on site. I work as a development construction inspector, and I've been doing that for almost 7 years. So that'll be my first little pit stop as a title holder. And I have a few other things planned this month already. So I'm really,
Oh,
really excited about that, and I'm feeling really motivated, and I'm glad that I already have a head start.
yeah, that's amazing. So what all do you wish to achieve under your reign? Because it sounds like you already got a couple things planned.
Yeah, so I do a lot of public speaking, and with my past titles, I have spoken both nationally and internationally. But I'm hoping that this time around, I can speak to a lot more younger audiences, the youth potentially. I'm really hoping to access a lot more high schools and even elementary schools, and just being able to share some words of inspiration. I know that those are really vital times for us when we're growing up, and I remember being that age and feeling very vulnerable and defeated. So I really hope that I can maybe just bring some inspiration and bring some light. So that's something different that I want to do this year. I just want to incorporate a little bit more of a younger age category within my public speaking.
Yeah, that sounds great. And what do you what is your advocacy? What do you mainly speak about?
So I advocate for occupational diversity. I focus on women in STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, as I am a civil engineering technology graduate. And like I said, I do work as a construction inspector. So I talk about the barriers that I've encountered along the way before I became an inspector, things that I still struggle with even today. You know, we're always learning and we're always growing and we always encounter new challenges. So I really kind of want to put a face to that, and I want to showcase that you don't need to look a certain way to be successful in your industry. And I like to call it occupational diversity because there's a lot of different occupations that maybe are more predominant in one gender, one race, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I really want to broaden that and just open the eyes of the youth and make them understand that maybe it's not something that is considered the norm, but it's still normal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great message. People tend to get only so many suggestions when they're even in high school, thinking about what to do for colleges. They don't think outside the box sometimes because people are boxed in. Like they think that's not for me.
You know what? And a lot of the times they look up to their parents. And myself personally, I didn't have anyone in my family that had done anything like this. So it's not like I had that role model or somebody to kind of guide me in this direction. It was actually my guidance counselor in high school who had recommended civil engineering, which was something that was new to me. And I just said, you know what? If I do well, I will continue with it and we'll just see how it goes. And this is where it ended up. So for me, it really did start in high school, and I did have that guidance counselor that guided me. So she did her job very well.
Well, that is good to hear that some guidance counselors, mine was not so helpful, but I'm glad there are some helpful ones out there. Did you have like a national one before this international pageant?
So I did not. I represented Ontario. I was the only Canadian delegate in my category of the Miss category. So I was appointed the Ontario title, and I just represented Ontario at the international pageant. So that was really exciting. I can't recall if there are some states that might have that type of cycle. Don't quote me. I feel like there are. couple, but I don't want to be wrong. So, but I did not personally. I did represent Ontario. And to any of my Canadian girls that are, wanting to try out this pageant system, I obviously recommend it. I have time, not just because I won. I'm a very honest person, and I really pride myself on that. I had a really great time there. I love international pageants. It was held in Florida, so beautiful weather. I mean, we have pretty good weather here right now in Ontario too, but it's different, tropical weather. So I really enjoyed it. And yeah, if anybody's interested, they can always ask me questions. I'm an open book, and I'll just say it how it is.
Well, that is good to hear. We need honesty in this pageant industry.
Exactly.
Do you want to talk us through almost your day by day during your international pageant, like what you guys did?
For sure. So obviously we started off with orientation, which I personally love. That's my favorite part of competition because that's when you first meet everyone and you finally put a face to the headshots. Like in real life, you're seeing them in 3D. You get to hear them speak, maybe even for the first time. So we went through orientation, introductions, a little bit of public speaking practice, maybe for those that, because there are many categories. So we have the junior miss, the junior teen, miss, teen, Ms. and Elite. And I said that in a totally wacky order, but you guys get the idea. So where there are 6 different age groups. So I really feel like that introduction and the opportunity to speak in front of the group is vital during the first day. It's like an icebreaker. And like I said, I think that's really beneficial for maybe some of the younger age categories. So we did our orientation. We also had an all-white party, which was really fun on the first day. Once again, an icebreaker. We're wearing all white, of course, except for the reigning title holders. They were wearing black, so they could stand out and have their moment. So that was really fun. We also had rehearsals, of course. So every day we'd have a rehearsal. We have every year the North America system has a queen hosted party, and ours was Denim and Diamonds. And I'm happy to say that I actually won the costume, we'll call it. So I had best costume for my division, and I thought that that was really fun because you had an opportunity even beforehand to start getting involved in the pageant week by putting together your outfit and just being really creative and then being able to showcase it when you get there. So we had a little party event showing off our outfits, and once again, just getting to know everybody and having fun. We also went to Disney Springs, which was quite the experience for me. I've never been to anything Disney related before this, so that was really fun. And we had interviews, which I feel like can be stressful for some people, which is totally understandable. But I always say interviews are one of those things that they're asking you questions about yourself, and it's kind of hard to get it wrong because only you know you best. So once you get past the nerves of it all and just zone in and just realize that these are just questions about me, I find that interview is actually an enjoyable process. You get to talk to the judges, you get to express yourself, you get to highlight fun facts, important facts about you, maybe things that you didn't get to discuss during the week. So, yeah. And then after, of course, we had the final event, which includes your opening number outfit. There's also swim and swim or fitness. And depending on what category you're in, there's fun fashion. So that didn't apply to my category, but it would have for a couple of the younger categories. And then evening gown, which is my favorite.
Yeah, amazing. And I know even you said there's a lot of outfits and stuff that go into this. Did you have anything sponsored for this?
I did. Wow, thank you for that question. I had my final gown was sponsored by Ellie Wild, which I thought was so amazing. I love Ellie Wild. I have worn their gowns so many times. I've worn them when I've won other titles. I've worn them when I've placed in other systems, and it was really such an honor for them to really trust me and put their faith in me to showcase their gown. So yeah, maybe I'll give you some information of like the gown that I wore in case anybody's interested. They can look it up themselves later on.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. If you also want to give me their Instagram or whatever, I can make sure it's in the caption.
yeah, so that part of I think that's like the most important part of competition is your final gown personally. So yeah, that part was sponsored and it was really exciting for me. It was the first time I ever had a piece of my wardrobe sponsored by anybody, and I've done quite
Nice.
pageants. So from going to really nothing to all of a sudden my final gown is sponsored. Yeah, it was something magical for me personally.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And honestly, the evening gown is also usually the most expensive. So,
Like, exactly. I was so excited when they connected with me and they had said, "Yeah, absolutely. We love what you do. We love what you stand for. For sure, we'll sponsor you." And I was like, "Ah, thank goodness! I'm so excited."
that's so amazing. It was a brand that you've like worn before. Like, clearly you loved them.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. And did you have coaching leading up to your pageant?
No, actually, I have never been coached before. I feel like I'm really good at self-evaluating. I do feel that coaching is beneficial, especially if you have a particular area that you struggle in. I do think that it's wise to seek some extra assistance. I have my mom. She's my coach, I call her. She's my pageant manager, my coach. She helps me out with everything. She's also very honest, which is great because I know some moms, they just kind of sugarcoat everything. They say, "Oh, you're great, honey. You're doing." No, no, my mom will tell me how it is, which I really appreciate. And I need it. Everybody needs honest feedback. So no, I've never had coaching, and obviously I didn't have coaching for this system either.
Wow, that's a great accomplishment because I know you have had a couple titles, so it's great that you've gotten there.
Thank you. Thank you. Once again, a lot of self-evaluation and being honest with yourself. Looking back at your performances, I feel like that's like one of the most important things. And I love to tell people rather than focusing on thinking about why did that person win, think about more why didn't you win? Because we always have room for improvement. Even myself winning this title, looking back at my performance or myself during the week, of course there was something somewhere that I could have improved on, right? We all have something. We're not perfect, right? We're not perfect, and no matter how hard we try to be perfect, it's impossible. We're human. So yeah, but I think self-evaluating is the most important thing. Even if you had a coach, you would still have to be able to recognize the areas that you need assistance in and be able to work on those.
I feel like you said, even having your mother as almost a sounding board of her being honest, like you really need someone to reflect that in you. Like, don't just surround yourself with people who are gonna hype you up. Like you need constructive criticism to improve.
Absolutely. I 100% I agree with that. Yeah.
Um, so out of all the different pageants that you've kind of gone through, how was this one different?
So I've done another international pageant in the past, and I felt that this one here was a lot more organized, which I'm a very type A person, and I like to know everything beforehand. Like I want to know where we are, what we're going to be doing, what we're going to be where. I need the schedule because that's how I perform my best. I like to plan ahead. I like to think ahead, and that's just how I am. I can also go with the flow too, obviously, because that's just life. You've got to be able to go with the flow as well. But if I have the option, I like things to be a bit more structured. And I found that this organization was it was very organized. It was very straightforward too. They didn't really sugarcoat anything. If I had questions, they answered me truthfully and honestly, which I really appreciate, even if it wasn't maybe the typical answer that you would expect to receive, which I think is very valuable. I think it's valuable to be part of an honest system. I think that sometimes certain systems might not be as transparent, or maybe they like to give you a little bit of information at a time. And I didn't struggle with that this time around, which is something I really appreciated. And it made the whole process a lot more simple and enjoyable.
Yeah, that sounds really great. As you said, some aren't all forthcoming until you get there and you're like, oh, interesting.
It happens. It happens. And if you've done
Mhm.
enough pageants, you'd know that for yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what made this pageant system stand out as the next one you wanted to participate in?
Well, I really, really wanted to participate in an international pageant. I love what the North America system stands for. They're very much about natural beauty, what you bring to the table beyond beauty. They're very your platform based and advocacy based, which I appreciate. Certain pageants have more of a maybe model-esque component to them or runway style. It offered both. It really did offer both the glam aspect of pageantry, but also looked beyond just the physical appearance. And that's how I am as a person. Obviously, I like to look my best because I'm in a beauty pageant. I want to look my best. I want to feel my best. I want to feel confident. And let's be honest here. I wear construction boots and a safety vest every single day. So if I'm able to get glammed up, I am all for it. So I really like that it has a balance of both the physical appearance, but also your platform, your advocacy, what your plans are with your reign. They ask a lot of questions about that when you're there, how you plan to use social media. To advance your reign, to advance your to grow your platform. How are you going to utilize it? How are you going to be a useful and a useful title holder and a role model in general? So I really appreciate that, and that's what I heard great things about the system before going into it, and I experienced it myself now. So once again, it's not because I won. I really am an honest person, and you'll just have to trust me for what it is. But I did have a wonderful time, and the reasons why I entered, they lived up to the expectations.
Yeah, that's amazing. And like you said, it's always good to have a balance. Like, I mean, for people who want to go in strictly beauty pageants for the beauty, I mean, there are some systems out there. It's great finding the one that suits for you. I always advise people just like you said, like ask as many questions as you can and ha if you're wondering if it's the right system for you.
And you know what? I feel like even when you're getting those responses, that already kind of builds a picture of what to expect. If you're getting delayed responses or fragment kind of answers or wishy-washy type of responses, you kind of already know what to expect. And then you can make an informed decision on whether you want to move forward. And I had a very easy time. I'm the type of person, like I said, I'm very type A. I ask a lot of questions, but it's in everyone's best interest because then there's no questions for everybody else because I already asked them all. So, and I always got an answer and I got a quick answer too, which I appreciate a lot, especially given that everyone has busy lives. They still always found time to respond to their candidates, which is so important because, we're here for you and you're supposed to be here for us too.
No, I agree 100%. Like I've been in a couple different systems now, and I have had where the directing was amazing. They had quick answers, like anything you needed, and the other one was like very delayed and like it was like grasping for straws almost, like trying to get answers out of them.
Frustrating. It's exhausting. It's frustrating. Pageants are already difficult enough to prepare for. The last thing you need are delayed responses or answers that are tentative or this, that, you know what I mean? So it's good to be organized and it's good to work with people that are organized.
Exactly, especially they aren't cheap. You know, you put a lot of money, time, and effort into your appearance, your outfits, getting yourself ready for your walks and everything. Like, you want to know your money's going to a good place.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the honest truth about it. I mean, they're not free. Some people are almost surprised when I tell them they have to pay for pageantry, but it's like it's a hobby. Of course, you have to pay for it. There are expenses that go into it. There's people that are running it. There is staff. People need to be compensated, and
Mhm.
other hobby that you may have, there are fees that go into it. Even if you're somebody that is like a gym nut and you always go to the gym and you got to pay for your membership if you have special classes, special gear, this, that, and the other thing. If you're in a sport, you have all of that too. There's always fees associated with your hobbies, right? So I'm always so surprised when others are surprised that it's not free. What in life is free?
True, very true. But it's, yeah, honestly, and like you said, everyone is making a living off of this, like the people who contribute to it. I know it is a lot of volunteer basis, but there are people behind the scenes answering literally any time of the day, all like year long, trying to help their delegates and stuff. So it is a price, but it's worth it. We have fun.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the most important thing, and that's why you really need to know what you're signing yourself up for because there's a cost factor to it. There's your time that's involved with it. If you're maybe working full time, you have to take time off of work, right? So these are commitments that you're making beforehand, and you want to really know what you're signing yourself up for.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, any hobby has a price.
Exactly.
Well, while you have time to talk, is there anything that you want to like bring attention to or shed light on?
Yeah, I mean, I am still booking for this year. So if anyone is interested in having me as a guest, but like I said, I'm an open book. Anyone can ask me any question and I will answer it very truthfully, very honestly. So if anyone is hoping to have me at a special event, public speaking event, a conference, really anything. I've done it all, I feel, at this point. I've done virtual, in person, so many things. So, yeah, just anyone that's interested or even just wants to know more about me, my platform. Maybe you're going through a tough time and you want some advice with anything, whether it may be pageantry, your career, feel free to reach out. I am always willing to respond. And yeah, that's pretty much it, unless you have anything else for me.
Just one last question. Now that this is an international title, do you have plans for international travel or events?
I have dreams. Yeah. So I'm hoping to hit up some of the states during my reign. As it is held in Florida, obviously it's international. So for anyone that doesn't know, North America consists of more than just Canada, US, and Mexico. So there's quite a number of states or countries, excuse me. But yeah, I am hoping to travel to some of the states, maybe even travel outside the province. I've done that with my past titles, and I'm hoping to do that again. And if I am fortunate enough, I am hoping to travel outside of Canada and the US and go into some of the other countries and hopefully make an impact wherever I go. So, yes, they're dreams, but I'm also a go getter. So, they're also plans.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking your time and being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This is my first interview with my new
Ooh,
channel. There you go.
yay!
Early bird gets the worm. You could say
Exactly. Well, thank you so much. I hope everyone has a great day.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.